Now let's talk about simplifications and what else we could do. Now you could definitely try to outsource more logic. You could try to build individual input components which contain some validation logic or whatever. You could build an overall form component which handles a lot of that. You could build more custom hooks which, for example, return entirely pre-configured inputs or forms. And attached you find an article on that which might also be interesting to you, where we also build a complete use form hook, which even spits out readily configured input elements, which you can use in JSX. I want to focus on the basics here though, and that is already a long module. For me, it mattered to explain how we can use what we learned about React to build great user experiences and to build forms and form behaviors that make sense to our users, that feel good to our users. And at the same time, I of course also wanted to show you that this can lead to a lot of unnecessary code, and therefore building something like this custom use input hook can reduce code duplication and allows us to reuse logic. Even though we now of course still have some replicated code, but it is distinct enough, I would argue. Nonetheless, you can dive into building more elaborate custom hooks, and this attached article might be interesting for that. In addition, there also are third-party libraries that could be interesting to you. For example, Formic. Formic is a very popular third-party library for working with forms, and you can dive into the official docs to learn more about it. It's not really using hooks that much. It's more using components and patterns we know from older versions of React, so to say. But nonetheless, it's a great library when it comes to rendering forms and dealing with more complex forms and validation. Again, you can explore the official docs to learn how it works. The core idea is that you don't have to write much state management logic, but that instead you write your validation logic, you define your fields, and then let Formic do the rest. A little bit as we did it with our custom use input hook. There we also focus on passing in the validation logic, and the hook then manages the state for us. Formic then just has more use cases and outsources even more logic, or allows us to outsource even more logic to it. So that might definitely be worth a look. Now for this course though, I'm happy with this approach. You again got more practice with working with custom hooks, and you really see what's going on behind the scenes. Now you are definitely well prepared to handle forms and user input in your next projects, and of course we are also going to work a bit more with forms in the course projects you'll find in the rest of this course.